All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another, episode of this MEB Golf podcast, sports, whatever you want to call it. I am back after a little disappearance. Happy to be back, that's for sure. Just kind of getting back into the swing of things, enjoying like this. Like I said, I probably had the time to do one. I just, for whatever reason, kept putting it off, and of course I can't opt into that. I'm only missed a week or so, but I am back. I'm happy to be back. Hopefully I've got something. I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard about all the news that's going on in the sports world, or that I'm going to be covering, but that is kind of what I do, is I just kind of watch and learn and listen. I wish I had like some real great sources, but I don't. I'm just here to kind of reiterate my thoughts and stuff on what's kind of going on in the sports world, or what might be important in the game of golf, or whatever, more or less YouTube golf, because that's kind of my favorite thing in the world to do, my passion, my love, I guess. So of course, like every episode, we'll start with the birdie and the double bogey. I'm going to start with my birdie, and that's just the month of October. I think it's just the best time of the year, the fall, depending on what part of the country you live in. You'll be getting the foliage in the north. The leaves are starting to turn colors. Everything, they're starting to fall off the trees. It's getting a little cooler, of course, anywhere you go. I mean, I, of course, am down here in Miami, where the weather is not it's not cool, but, we're in the middle of hurricane season. Unfortunately, there's one out there right now in Jamaica, so hopefully everything is going okay down there. I know it's going to be tough couple of days right now going on down there, but best of prayers are with everyone down there right now. But I just think October is great because of, one, like I've mentioned, the weather, but I think the sports are, it's the best time of year for sports. You've got, of course, the World Series going on right now. You've got NFL season, you're in the middle of it. You've got college football in the middle of the season of that. You've got the NBA started, the NHL has started, and then I saw some preseason college basketball action last night. There was the Duke and Tennessee exhibition going on. So we've got, just in the dead of sports, which is my personal favorite time of the year when it comes to the sports, weather, everything more or less. My birthday, of course, is in October. I just celebrated that a couple of days ago. So, just I'm buying the whole month of October for my birdie. It's just, I think, the best time of year. My double bogey is, again, like I mentioned, I was on a little hiatus of this podcast, or whatever you want to call it, for a couple of weeks. I'm back, though. So I guess that's a good thing. But, it's discouraging, I guess, to say the least. When you get up there, you record it, you do all this stuff, and it's like you get like 7 views or whatever, and I get it, no one really, I guess, cares to, tune into a 45-minute episode of some guy they've never met or talked to, or, think, I don't really have much informative information that everyone already doesn't know about, but, so I kind of understand that, but like I said before, I'm trying to get this as more or less like my journaling, as opposed to writing everything down. It's kind of me just kind of getting out there and, trying to face my fear, getting in front of the camera, and, doing all this other stuff and learning how to edit. So this is kind of, I'm doing this for myself, but I think that only having like 12 views on the long form content is what kind of discouraged me to continue doing this. But I'm back, so I'm ready to take on the 15 views for this week's podcast. So looking forward to, just continuing to do this. So, I got to just keep pushing, and eventually it'll get out there, and maybe someone will like what I have to say, or maybe a sponsor deal will pop up out of one of these and say, hey, we like what you're doing. we like, which, maybe not what you say, but I can always throw some sponsor ads out there, and, who knows. So, but I'm going to keep pushing and doing it and enjoy it, of course. With that being said, we'll kind of dive right into everything. We'll start with the World Series. Of course, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays are in it. I'm sure majority of the Major League Baseball fans are probably rooting for the Blue Jays just because the Dodgers are so dominant, and everyone likes a nice underdog story, and everyone likes a different team to win, and blah, 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 whatever. The Blue Jays are kind of, and of course, they've got the whole back of Canada rooting for them, of course. Now, with that being said, I think, unfortunately, I don't really have a favorite on who wins where, I think the Dodgers are going to end up winning in 5. I think it's going back to Dodger Stadium tonight. I think they've got a fantastic opportunity to take the next 3 here in Los Angeles. I think they are just too experienced. They got too great of a lineup, and the pitching staff is just dominant. Blue Jays are a great team. They've got a lot of great bats. They've got, of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and guys like Barger, who's playing out of his mind, and Alejandro Kirk, and all these guys are, they're great lineup, great players. I just don't think they match up very well with the the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I know I predicted 5-1, or 5-1, 5 games, 4-1 Dodgers in the series. We will just have to wait and see tonight. I think Ohtani's going yard tonight, and I think Teoscar Hernandez is going to go yard tonight. I just think those are kind of my picks. I guess I didn't really prepare for anything for the end of the episode in my pick'em. So if you want to buy in, I'm going with Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez home runs tonight. And Tommy Edman's going to go, not Tommy Edman. No, scratch that. Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez are going yard tonight. So those are my picks for this episode. I did them a little early, hopped in. I can do whatever I want on this thing because this is mine. Normally I try to do a little, make each and every episode more consistent, but that's what I'm doing today. Of course, the NBA season has started. I'll do a little early predictions for the end of the year award here. My MVP, I know it's only been 3 games into the season, but Victor Wembanyama just looks absolutely unstoppable. Spurs played the Mavericks in Cooper Flag at the American Airlines Arena down there in Dallas for their opening to open the season. Wemby put up 40 points in just an absolute dominant fashion. You get the ball in the paint with that guy, standing at 7'6" or whatever, however tall he is. It's just, with the athleticism that he has, it's going to be hard to stop him all year. The only thing that's going to stop him is himself and his body and injuries. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he can just continue to dominate the league. So I think Wemby has got I don't want to say a lock because there's 3 games into the season or whatever, but he continues to play like this. The MVP is going to be his. I saw Austin Reeves put up 51 last night against the Kings without LeBron and Luka. So, that's kind of nice to see. I can't wait for LeBron to get back, but looking forward to seeing what the Lakers do for the remainder of the season. It's always nice to see Austin Reeves perform. As a Midwestern guy, it's nice to see someone like him put up that many points. The Heat, surprising win last night against the So looking forward to watching the Heat play, of course. We're going to get them moving here along. I don't think, unfortunately, they're going to have the greatest year this year. Of course, Terry Rozier will not be playing anymore. They're probably for the remainder of the season because his alleged arrest, in addition to the mafia, whatever, the sports betting, illegal gambling, shaving points, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what the Heat's going to end up doing, but of course, there's my take on the little NBA action so far. But like I said, Wembanyama is going to end up taking the MVP, I think, this year if he continues it up. Moving on to the NHL, not too much to say about the NHL. I know my St. Louis Blues have started off a little mediocre, giving up a lot of goals. Their goaltending looks a little rough. but they're also scoring a little bit. So hopefully it'll be nice to see. We need to get that goaltending down a little bit, and I think they'll be all right. They just got to figure out that goaltending and that defense, and we'll be right back in the playoffs again. A little bit of college football, of course. You had a lot going on this weekend. The Missouri Tigers, they ended up losing to Vanderbilt, top 10 team. It is a quality loss, I guess, on the road in Vandy. Unfortunately, Bo Prabula went down. I think he broke his ankle or his leg or something. So not looking too promising for the Missouri Tigers here for the rest of the season. They've got a hard matchup next week against Texas A&M at home, the number 3 team in the country. If, for whatever reason, they can pull off the upset next week against A&M, I think they've got an opportunity to finish off strong the rest of the year. They've got another Oklahoma tough matchup, and then I forget who their last game is against, but I'm looking forward to the rest of the year with them. Just because I live in Miami, the Hurricanes, coming off their loss, ended up beating Stanford pretty bad. And Notre Dame had a bye week this week, of course, so everything kind of stands still with them. But LSU fired their head coach, Brian Kelly. Who's going to be their next head coach? There's rumors out there that there's about 5 or 6 guys looking for, a letter, I guess, being looked at for the job opening at LSU's head coach. There's talks about Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss moving over to LSU. Joe Summerall from Tulane. I've heard his name out there. Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, is being looked at. James Franklin, the ex-head coach for Penn State, he's also being looked at. And then, Eli Drinkowitz from Missouri. That would be very, very tough to see him go. He's done so much great stuff for the University of Missouri and their football program in general. So I would not like to see Drink go to LSU. I think best option is going to be a guy like, James Franklin. Unfortunately, he can't win the big game, so I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what the LSU does here in the next, probably towards the end of the season. It'll probably be figure out that. They'll rock with their interim head coach at the moment and continue moving on. So with the NFL, we've got Commanders versus Chiefs in Kansas City. Are the Chiefs favorites to win the Super Bowl? I think so. I know they've had some rough patches in their season so far, but I think they're back. Can't ever doubt Patty Mahomes. He's got all of his weapons out there. Kelsey, Xavier Worthy. He's got his, Rice is back. Offensive line's just playing out, lights out right now, protected in Patrick Mahomes. The defense is playing great football. So we'll see what they do against Marcus Mariota and the Commanders tonight. I think they're back. I think they're ready to go roll, and let's Chiefs Kingdom. Let's ride. And also another questionable, or I guess not questionable, but tight race in the AFC East. The Patriots, can they win that division? They're at 6. I think they sit at 6-2 right now, and the Bills are at 5-2. I don't think so. Yes, are they a wild card potential team? Absolutely. I don't think that they're going to lose to the Bills. I think the Bills are just too dominant. I think it doesn't matter who you have as receivers or out there in Buffalo. You could have me out there, and I think that we could still win the division. I think Josh Allen is just that good. I think he's just he's got too good of an arm and too good of a offensive scheme and coaching, and everything just kind of lines up really well for that Buffalo Bills team. We'll see here in a couple of weeks. I think they play the Pats. That'll be definitely a big matchup. Although I can't doubt or knock on Drake May over there in New England and what he's done for that organization. They are looking very good. I don't want to say happy to see that the Patriots are playing good football again, because I'm not really a Patriots fan, but it's always good to have the Pats being good, just because it's good for football. But the biggest kind of upset of the week, I guess, was the Jets rallying back from that being down. I don't even know how many against the Bengals. to get their first win. So congrats to the New York Jets on their first win. Congrats to Justin Fields and the whole organization and a whole in general. That was, nice to see them win. As much as probably Jets fans didn't really want to see the win because they're shooting for that number 1 overall pick to get probably the quarterback. It's always good to see a wins too. It's good to see a W on your I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it's always good to have a win in your city. But unfortunately, the New York Jets had a major loss this past weekend. They lost Nick Mangold, Ohio State Buckeye. Very sad news. He lost kidney disease. I know he was, from what I heard, all the people that knew him and played with him and played against him said he was just a standout guy, and it's hard to lose a teammate, a friend, a family member, a husband, brother, whatever it was. We also, as a YouTube golf fan, we also lost our friend from Foreplay Pod at Barstool, Cody Beef Franke. I really enjoyed watching his content and seeing what he did at Barstool and helped out the Foreplay guys. He was also another guy. All I heard from everybody, from like Big Cat, Jersey Jerry, Frankie, Riggs, Trent, every guy, all the Bob Does Sports guys, any YouTube golf content creator that has ever met him, anyone that's met him in general, has all said he's just been the biggest standout guy, the nicest guy in the world. I mean, obviously I don't work for Barstool, but all the people at Barstool, like I think I heard Big Cat quote saying Barstool is not a easy company to work for, just because it's not, you don't have the nicest people all the time. But at the end of the day, he was always the nicest guy, genuine. It's really sad to see him go so suddenly at like the age of 31 years old, which is way too young. He would always, it didn't matter who he was introducing himself to, he'd take his hat off, shake the hand of whoever he was talking to, and then put the hat back on as a sign of respect. So I guess hats off to Cody Franke, and of course, late great Nick Mangold for the New York Jets. I want to give a little 10 seconds moment of silence for the both of them. All right, so I guess which kind of brings me into the YouTube golf world, of course, to bring that into the, I know obviously we just mentioned Cody Beef Franke passing away. Now, the Internet Invitational was supposed to be released today at 1 o'clock. On the Bob Does Sports channel. It is going to be pushed back till tomorrow. I believe they're going to probably be going back in, doing a little bit of editing, putting some in memory of Beef, which I think they're going to be honoring him for the whole tournament. The whole tournament's going to be dedicated to Beef's memory, which is a very nice thing of Bob Does Sports to do, and of course the Barstool guys that he worked for. So at the end of the day, I'm really looking forward to watching it. It is going to be a little weird because, of course, Beef played in the Internet Invitational. All these people was either their only time they ever got to meet the guys, so it's going to be kind of awkward to see. I don't want to say awkward, that's not the right word, but like it's going to be kind of interesting to see all the interactions and all the definitely going to be very nice to see all the stuff that they put back in there for Beef in general. I actually was able to go out today and hit some balls at the range in honor of Beef. I wasn't planning on going to the range, but when I saw the news, I always watch this little Beef Tip Tuesdays or whatever, and I wanted to get out there and hit some irons and in honor of Beef. I know I didn't know Beef. Beef didn't know me, but Beef loved people love seeing people who love the game of golf, and that's what I am. I love playing the game. I love everything about it. I love everything it represents. I love just it's a way to kind of meditate or whatever you want to make it of it. You know, I'm not a great golfer, but I love getting out there, and that's what Beef loves. That's why he loved guys at Barstool. Guys like Franke and Trent and Riggs. Those three guys were so passionate about the game and what they do that Beef just fit in so well with them because he loved the game. Was he the greatest golfer? No. But did he have but he loved the game of golf, and so we're all going to really miss Beef. I mean, I know the foreplay and all the guys at Barstool and his family and friends, of course, are going to really miss him. So prayers out to them. Really looking forward to the Internet Invitational starting tomorrow at 1 o'clock now, which we all should be A-okay with that, which kind of brings me into, I guess I'll talk a little more YouTube golf. This really kind of ties into YouTube golf and professional golf because the Bryan Bros are now back in professional golf. They played in the tournament over in the Philippines this past weekend. Amazing to see them back in professional golf. The Bryan Bros, have done some of the best family-friendly golf content out there. Two boys from South Carolina, Columbia area. Love the guys. They're very funny. They've definitely collaborated with all. They're also playing in the Internet Invitational tomorrow. They're collaborating with, of course, Grant and Bob Does Sports and all these guys so many times, and that's kind of how I got introduced to them. And Wesley actually made the cut, shot 6 under in the tournament, finished T51. George, I want to say shot even. He did not make the cut though. But it is nice to see that these guys are playing in tournaments, professional tournaments that mean something other than, of course, YouTube golf, which YouTube golf means a lot to me because it's like what I like to do. I mean, I'm not really a YouTube golfer yet, but I would like to, partake in it. And I think that would be one of the coolest things to be, coolest. I guess that would be a dream job, I guess you could say, the least. But it was nice to see them out there. There are rumors out there that the Bryan Bros are potentially going to be on the Live Tour, which would be very, very neat. I think I would actually support that. The guys obviously have played in the duels events with the guys and built relationships with a lot of the guys over there at Live, like Rom, Dustin Johnson, Phil, all those kind of guys. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what actually aspires from that whole thing, Live in the Bryan Bros. That'll be kind of neat, but which kind of, I guess, I can dive right into a little PGA talk. Good is going to be sponsoring a PGA Tour event next year in Austin, Texas. When I first heard this, I kind of thought, wow, that's incredible how quickly, obviously Good grew. It's obviously, started, as a small company, whatever, and, just rose to the top of YouTube golf so quickly, and it's amazing how fast and great they've developed a relationship with the PGA Tour, playing things like the Creator Classics, having a bunch of guys playing those, and a couple of them winning. Like I know Brad Dahlke won, Grant Horvat won, but I don't think he's not really involved with Good anymore. He's doing his own thing, but this is the fact that I think now it all kind of makes sense why Good has never really even partaken in any of the Live Duels events because they were already had this in plans to where they want to be a part of the PGA. So now it's almost like you're getting YouTube golf rivals now almost with Live and PGA. You could have I'm not saying this is to be true because one, the duels or the Bryan Bros are not affiliated with Live yet. I think it's rumors out there, but good. You could do good versus the Bryan Bros. You could, there's a lot going on there. Obviously, Bob Does Sports has played in some duels events, and they've played in some Creator Classic events. So I can't imagine them hosting any PGA Tour events. And Barstool, I could possibly see in Barstool hosting a PGA Tour event next year as well. I hope there's talks in with that because They obviously have the Barstool Classic, which is hosted by Portnoy and all those guys. But that's bringing in golfers like myself out to these random golf courses throughout the country. But honestly, with the name Dave Portnoy, I could definitely see in the future Barstool hosting a PGA Tour event. They've already got all their merch and all their tournaments, all the stores, all the tents, everything. They've got good, really nice apparel, hats, of course, and everything. So Barstool, get out there and let's get you hosting a PGA Tour event as well. Eventually, PGA Tour and YouTube are going to be, 1-on-1. They're already looking forward to, what YouTube has to say. And also, one of my favorite YouTube golf content creators out there, and I might get maybe a little hate for this or whatever, but it's Kai Trump. Like, the girl is, obviously going to be playing golf down here at the University of Miami next year. She's a great golfer. Obviously, her grandfather is the president, 45th and 47th president of the United States, and that's President Donald J. Trump. And I know that's where I'm going to get my hate. The poor girl just wants to go out there and play golf and love and enjoy her life. I'm sure she probably has it a little hard too, being who her grandfather is. I can't imagine what she has to do to get around to golf in. Not just, I'm sure her friends and stuff support, but there are people out there who are not supporters of her grandfather. But anyway, she did play a round at the DC Trump property with her grandfather, and it was one of the most entertaining episodes she's done. I think it was, and I know people hate on her grandpa, but it was really neat to see her out there just playing around the golf with her grandfather, who she likes to just call grandpa, not president, not Mr. Trump, not Mr. President, not, she's just out there to have a good time with her grandfather, and which kind of shows to me that, grandpa is just a regular old man. He's not just the president of the United States. He wants to be with his family and his granddaughter and play do what he loves to do and play golf. And they just have regular old conversations about, like a grandfather would with his granddaughter, with, any grandfather would have with their granddaughter. That was really cool and neat. Now, their conversations are probably a little different than maybe I would have one with my grandfather. We would talk about, he talks about what his favorite part in the White House is, getting a little bit political, but at the end of the day, I think Donald J. Trump's just a regular guy. Obviously he runs the country, does his best that he can, and I support that. So with that being said, I think everyone should go out there and go support Kai Trump in her golf career. So represent Kai. Looking forward to you coming down to the U and shooting some good rounds. So with that being said, I don't really have much more to talk about. Like I mentioned, I normally end the podcast with my picks of the week. I didn't really do the research on all that, but I am looking forward to this week's. You know what? Actually, that let me tap into this. So obviously, for those who don't know, my last name is Brennan. We have my long-lost family member. I don't think he's really related, but he's also a Brennan, Mr. Michael Brennan. Won the Bank of Utah tournament out there at Black Desert this past weekend to get his PGA Tour card for next season and be getting invited to some events now, like the Genesis and the TPC Sawgrass and at Pebble and those kind of events too. So congratulations to Michael Brennan, shouting you out, man. I'm gonna tag you on this. Hopefully we can get together and play a Brennan showdown one of these days. I know you're I believe a Wake Forest guy, so we can get a little, not that I'm a Miami guy, but we can get a little ACC matchup going. Maybe you and I could get together and play around the golf one of these days. I know we're not related, but we can, claim we are. Us Irishmen can get together and play a nice little round. But with that being said, like I mentioned, congrats to Mr. Michael Brennan. Happy to see you win. Now that I was able to watch your final round the other day, I will definitely be continuing to follow. So shout out to you. Again, with that being said, I do my picks. Like I mentioned earlier, my picks I like to do at the end. Didn't really do much this week. Like I mentioned, I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be the MVP this year. I think your boy Patty Mahomes is going to take the win tonight. Probably throw 3 touchdowns. Just making these numbers up right now. Xavier Worthy's going for over 80 yards. Travis Kelce's going to get in the end zone tonight. What else can I say? I'm just going to start. Oh, yeah, Otani and Teoscar Hernandez are growing deep. Those were my picks, I guess. I'm just making those up. So if you want to hop on the parlay, just throw those in there. Get yourself a chance to win a little bit of money. That'll be a nice little addition to your week's paycheck. You'll win a couple, depending on, of course, how much you're putting on. But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to post this here later tonight, and MEB Golf out.